Do the numbers just speak for themselves, or is there some kind of other motive for the filing at this time, Joey?
No correlation at all, Mike. You kidding? I'm being sarcastic, obviously.
Like 100 million each fight.
I would think close to $1 billion.
He probably is, but he spends like a mother. He probably has like a couple $100 million in jewelry.
This is what Floyd writes on his Instagram. Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear, especially when it comes to the media in this country.
Floyd Mayweather, who once proudly claimed career earnings exceeding $1.2 billion, is now reportedly on the brink of financial collapse, according to startling new reports from CNN. Despite his display of luxury jets, mansions, and expensive watches, insiders suggest that Mayweather's extravagant spending, unsuccessful business ventures, and escalating legal costs have severely impacted his finances. Sources indicate that the boxing icon is discreetly selling off assets to settle outstanding debts, with some speculating that a bankruptcy filing may be imminent.
Everything ends up this way. Well, everything does end up this way because people are surrounded by other people who make 10%, 20%, 5% on what the other guy brings home. So people are incentivized to push people to keep scaling and keep going and all eat when you eat. But I think it's very important for people to stand up and say, you know what? I don't think this thing needs to be that big. I don't think the valuation needs to get here.
Floyd Mayweather once stood at the peak of wealth in sports, reportedly accumulating over $1.2 to $2 billion through prize fights, endorsements, and public appearances. However, as quickly as the money flowed in, it was recklessly spent. Rather than investing wisely or ensuring long-term financial stability, Mayweather lived as if his wealth would never run out. His daily life was defined by extravagant purchases, from gold-plated jets to entire fleets of supercars. His desire to be recognized as the richest and most ostentatious figure in sports overshadowed any sense of financial prudence. Ironically, the very habits that earned him his fortune have now brought him to the verge of financial ruin.
He's up there, bro. He's probably got to be at least 400 million. I mean, some of the purses from his fights are like 100 million each fight.
I would think close to $1 billion.
He probably is, but he spends like a. He probably has like a couple $100 million in jewelry. Have you seen like videos of his jewelry?
Yeah, some crazy. Let me see. Let me see what his net worth is. Mayweather net worth.
Them Googles be lying though. Huh?
They be lying? You think?
I think so. It's probably not accurate. I mean,
let's see what they say. Exactly what you said. It says an estimated $450 million.
Yeah.
Richest boxer in the world. It's a lot of money.
Mayweather made headlines not only for his undefeated record, but also for the staggering paydays tied to his fights. His matchup with Manny Pacquiao reportedly earned him over $250 million, and his exhibition with Conor McGregor brought in similar figures. He was frequently hailed as the highest-paid athlete alive. However, instead of using this income as a foundation for long-term wealth, Mayweather used it to fuel his extravagant lifestyle. Lavish parties, private jets for his entourage, and million-dollar gambling sprees became a regular part of his life.
Floyd Mayweather, the highest paid athlete, not the highest paid boxer, the highest paid athlete in the world. I had the opportunity and pleasure to be around him for many years. I was his personal shopper. I was a personal friend of his family. One of my greatest memories of being just lucky enough to even be around that environment was watching him train. Watching Floyd Mayweather train is a masterclass in discipline. It is a masterclass in work ethic. It is a masterclass in this is how you execute and get stuff done. Every rep, he hits it hard. There's not one lazy rep. He does everything at such a high frequency, so elevated. I'm like, goodness gracious, watching this man train, it's like, that's how I want to train for life. I've been to the club with Floyd where we leave in the club 3, 4 in the morning and he's still going to hit his 6 miles. He'll have all the cars follow him and he's running down the Las Vegas Strip, down back streets.
Floyd Mayweather's financial struggles go beyond reckless spending. His name has often appeared in legal controversies linked to questionable business ventures. In 2022, he was involved in a class action lawsuit related to a cryptocurrency scheme that many labeled a pump and dump. While the case was dismissed, it highlighted Floyd's tendency to dive into hype-driven ventures without proper due diligence. The situation worsened in 2024 when he faced another lawsuit, this time for allegedly instructing his bodyguard to assault a man. The victim sought over $3 million in damages. These legal battles further expose the volatile and reckless nature of his financial decisions.
Explain all that. How did that happen in your life?
Well, things happen. I had 3 children with a young lady. We wasn't seeing eye to eye. We wasn't seeing eye to eye. She was a little upset, had a little alcohol in her system. She was a little edgy, and I told her, basically I needed the keys to my truck. She was upset. She didn't want me to take the keys to the truck. So things got out of hand and blown out of, they blow things up bigger than what things are really made out to be. So things happen.
But nevertheless, you had to do 2 months, right?
Yeah, I did 2 months for a misdemeanor, yes.
So what is it like to have everything and then not have freedom?
That's what I come to find out. Freedom is very important. Freedom is very, very important. And I'm just, I'm happy to be free. I'm happy to be back, in my children's life.
Joe Rogan, never one to hold back, publicly criticized Mayweather's apparent disregard for tax obligations. Rogan cautioned that no matter how wealthy someone is, failing to pay taxes can lead to serious trouble with the IRS, and he's not wrong. Many wealthy individuals have fallen victim to such negligence. Rogan also pointed out that Floyd's lavish lifestyle might be masking deeper financial instability. The pattern Floyd appears to be following isn't new, as many before him have faced similar downfalls.
$1 million range.
It's a lot of money, man.
But it's not something that he's been, it's not like deception.
No.
It's just neglect to pay.
Neglect. And it's also like, I think, and there is like a truth to this. He makes so much money. There's probably a point when they're like, hey, it's time to pay your taxes. And you go like, all right, here's a check for $25 million. That's an incredible amount of money. And then they go, that's true, but you owe 50 more. And he's just like, that can't be right. I've given you $25 million.
Yeah, he's bought over 100 luxury cars from the same dealer and always pays in cash.
He has $15 million worth of cars.
Congrats. You can sell them.
Mike Tyson famously earned hundreds of millions during his boxing prime, only to declare bankruptcy after years of reckless spending. Tyson's extravagant purchases included tigers, mansions, and a gold bathtub. Now, Floyd Mayweather appears to be following a similar destructive path. Like Tyson, Mayweather showcases his cars, jewelry, and luxurious homes, yet behind the facade, his financial situation seems increasingly unstable.
Floyd Money Mayweather and Marcos Maidana. Now, a lot of people may have gotten a lot of things from watching that episode. It was real flamboyant. We seen Floyd Mayweather tossing his money around as always, talking about the Miss Jackson situation. We seen Marcos Maidana looking focused, more so focused on his baby and everything. So those are a lot of the minor takeaways. But my major takeaway from this whole thing, ladies and gentlemen, is I was quickly hit with a emotion of nostalgia. You know what I mean? Because seeing Floyd Mayweather with all this money and cars and clothes and hoes and yada, 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 it just kind of reminded me. There was a small segment in that episode that stated that a lot of fighters believe in their immortality. You know what I mean? We've seen this before. So the question I ask, we have seen this movie before. Boxers traditionally going broke. They start off well, so flamboyant with all this money and all these cars, and they have businesses they invest in. There's something special, at least in their minds they are. And then after either retirement or near retirement or after the fight game has left them, traditionally boxers go broke, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not saying this is going to happen to Floyd Mayweather, but I swear on everything, man, I hope it doesn't happen to Floyd Mayweather, because Floyd Mayweather is going to go down in the halls of history, ladies and gentlemen, as possibly top 3 to top 5 to top 10 of all-time greats. I mean, depending on how you view Floyd Money Mayweather. But however, he is definitely the #1 boxer of my era, ladies and gentlemen, of my time on this earth of watching the sport of boxing. No one has the skill set of Floyd Money Mayweather. Carve it up, chop it up how you like. Get on the debate about his opponents, all this other crap. We can have that for another video. But this man is going to go down in history as an all-time great without a doubt. And I understand the argument for those who may even present the argument that he's the #1 greatest of all time. I see valid points in that argument. I don't agree with that, but I see valid points in that argument. This is a great boxer. We are going to miss Floyd Money Mayweather when he leaves the sport, ladies and gentlemen. But the fact remains,
Ironically, Floyd Mayweather has frequently discussed financial strategies, even referencing a buy low, sell high approach to his real estate investments. However, his actions often contradict his words. No one questions Mayweather's brilliance inside the ring. His defensive mastery, timing, and fight IQ solidified his legacy as one of the greatest boxers in history. He retired undefeated, a feat few athletes can claim. Yet, athletic talent doesn't necessarily translate into financial acumen. Mayweather's focus and discipline in boxing sharply contrast with his impulsiveness and lack of foresight outside the ring.
People hate consistency when it comes to teams that you don't like and not a fan of, and they constantly win all the time. The Patriots went through the same thing. Small example, I'm gonna just take boxing for instance.
Right.
Floyd.
Yes.
Everybody loved when Floyd was winning early in his career.
Yes.
But when he kept winning,
yes,
he became the villain.
Yes.
And then everybody paying in and tuning in to see him lose.
Right.
That's it. Yes. He became the villain.
Even Floyd's own uncle, Jeff Mayweather, has openly questioned his financial decisions. In a candid interview, Jeff admitted that he no longer understands Floyd's erratic behavior, particularly his chaotic investment patterns. Floyd seems to jump into business ventures without a clear strategy, often driven more by ego than logic. His bold real estate claims raise concerns among professionals who are well aware of the risks involved in those markets.
I have no idea. I mean, like I said, I don't necessarily see Floyd very much. So we don't really get a chance to talk very much. And so I don't really know what's going on with him. I know he's doing things that, to better his life, like, buying homes and buying, different things. And so, I don't know exactly what he's doing. So, I haven't seen him in quite some time. And I haven't heard about him talking about doing any more exhibitions. Maybe he will, maybe he won't, I don't know. But I haven't heard anything.
I know that KSI's team would be happy to make their fight with him.
Mayweather back after the Pacquiao fight in 2015 saw Mayweather with the $26 million paycheck for the IRS. And this is what Floyd writes on his Instagram. Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear, especially when it comes to the media in this country. While everyone is counting my money and assuming the worst, these are the facts. Uncle Sam received $26 million from me in 2015. What else could they possibly want? I'm sure I would have been notified much sooner if there were any real discrepancies, right? Bottom line, everybody just wants to be part of the Money May show, including the IRS. That's fine. You can crunch numbers all day, but in the end, my empire is rock solid and intact. Now calculate that. Hashtag TMT, hashtag Floyd Mayweather, hashtag TBE.
To them by showing on Instagram $26 million, a payment he made to the IRS. By the way, nothing makes your tax payment look shadier than when you're just holding up cash.
Right.
That's not a good look for the IRS. But he showed his actual, $26 million.
They just pay him. Like, I don't know why, like, he's mad at the media. It's like, oh, you guys are making things up. No, it's leaked that you asked to pay after this fight. Like, you make all this money. If I was Mayweather, not only would I pay them on time, the IRS, I'd tip them. I'd be like, hey, here's what I owe you. Here's a little bit. Get your woman something nice, all right? How was Christmas for your kids? Oh, you're Jewish? Convert just for this Christmas. Here, take care.
$2 million. This substantial investment was made through his real estate firm, Vada Properties, and is intended to expand his portfolio in New York City real estate market. Mayweather has expressed that this purchase holds significant personal meaning, reflecting his humble beginnings and desire to provide affordable housing options. He stated, growing up, I used to dream about owning just one home by myself. When you work hard, you can achieve anything. However, it's important to note that while Mayweather has announced this acquisition, some reports suggest that property records do not yet confirm a transfer of ownership. Experts speculate that he may have acquired a minority stake with options for future expansion.